2 years ago, a man named Ahmaud Arbery was killed in the commission of a hate crime by a father and son who chased him down in a pickup truck and killed him in cold blood. A month later, a woman named Breonna Taylor was shot and killed in Louisville, Kentucky, whilst police attempted to serve a no-knock warrant. 2 months later, a man named George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and a police officer kneeled down on his neck for 8 minutes in order to detain him, all while his fellow officers looked on and did nothing. All three of these events were caught on video, and it seemed as though, even with airtight evidence, justice wasn't being served. With this and the preceding events of a growing police violence against African Americans, the nation became a different place, a colder place. With the nation already torn apart as a result of the 2016 election, there was a growing consensus that we were headed for a modern-day civil war. Protests were becoming more and more violent. Tensions on Capitol Hill were at an all-time high. Hatred flowed through the streets like the Nile through Egypt. And all the while, most of us were just trying to get through the day. A few months later, I started this podcast. The purpose of this podcast was to shed light on what was happening in the African American community, but it quickly turned into something bigger than I could even imagine at the time. It became a place where hard conversations were had, where they were birthed, a place where, for even just a little while, we could look at what was happening around us and feel it for what it was. I became my own best therapist, and everyone around me was able to come face to face with harsh realities and hard truths. We came to realize that as a nation, we had somehow found the dark side of resilience. Whether rightly or wrongly, that resilience became our saving grace, and it had an ameliorating effect on all of our mental health in so many different ways. We woke up and faced giants not common to man in common hours, and to some extent, we conquered those giants, and we survived. The new season of the Hyman Podcast will focus more on the justice system and how it works and how it doesn't. No system is without its flaws, and the American justice system is no exception to this. While George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery received some semblance of justice, Breonna Taylor did not, just like so many who came before her. This season, I'll be telling more compelling stories of how real-life people have come up against the Goliath that we call the American justice system and how it all played out. You'll hear stories about people who were wrongfully convicted, who are now free, and some who are still behind bars. We'll dive more into the Murdaugh saga, because who doesn't love a good murder mystery? And we'll dive into new topics surrounding the idea that all are innocent until proven guilty. For the next few months, come along with me and get immersed in a type of storytelling that is based on the healing of the overall human experience. My name is JD Hyman, and this is the Hyman Podcast. The new season premieres Monday, October 3rd, with new episodes every other week. The Hyman Podcast is produced in conjunction with the Hyman brand and is part of the Press Play Podcast Network.